Yo, what's happening, guys? I'm here today with this 2002 Toyota Tacoma. This is my piece of shit I use to beat around the woods now. Um, so, I've been having some issues driving up and down the road, and I noticed that when I get on the gas or like go to gas, there's a little slack banging back and forth, clack, clack, clack. So you let go of the gas, and when you step on the gas, the wheels almost chirp. So I knew there had to be something wrong. I had something like that before, and what it was the center pin in my rear differential. The bolt broke off, and it kept turning, and it bored a center pin and made all the spider gears loose. So when you got on the gas, it would make that clunk. So what you want to do to remove the rear diff on this, I removed the tires. I had to remove that. It's a long story I'm not going to get into. But what you have to do, you have to remove these 4 nuts on the back of these brake drum, back of these brake drums. Same as on that side. Remove them, and you just have to pull these out a little bit, about that far. Get underneath, remove your dry shaft, and I just set my dry shaft up by the exhaust. You probably can't see it right there. And then you got all these nuts, and basically you just keep wiggling and pulling, and you'll get the rear differential out. So what happened to this rear diff is right here. The center pin cut completely off, and that spider gear is pretty well fucked. And yeah, well, this is all kind of fucked. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna fix this with this because I don't really give a fuck, and she's gonna be a full lock. And for in the woods, well, can't complain about a full lock rear diff, right? So first of all, when I stick my finger up in here in this little hole, I can move this up and down. So I'm gonna try to gauge this as best as I can and get that up in place without moving that gear over there and this big gear over here, because your splines for your wheel, your axles got to fit in there, so you don't want to really get them off too much. So I'm going to get everything lined up, and as you can see, this one here is still in there, but once I get everything all welded up, I'm going to try to drive that one out, and I'm going to weld these right to the casing. But first, before I weld these, I got to clean this all up, get rid of as much oil as I possibly can. Then I'm going to heat it up with the torch and get it hot. Make sure I get a good penetration with my MIG. I don't got a lot of power in this, but I welded a lot of rear diffs on 3/4 tons and 1 tons, and I never had an issue with anything failing, and lots of abuse. So let's get this done. Alright guys, here it is. So I welded it on both sides. It's pretty sloppy right now. I'm going to clean up all this. I got a lot of splatter on my gears, on this ring gear and everything. But whenever you're doing this, make sure all inside of here where your axles go into, make sure all that stuff there, try to get as much of that off as you possibly can, because well, you don't want that beating around your side, your bearings and everything. And well, to tell you the truth, your bearings are probably going to be full of shit anyway after the rear end explodes. You can clean it out as much as you can, but there's going to be some left. But so what I did here, I welded all the spider gears all the way around, all together, and then I cut a square, well, rectangular piece of steel, and I sat it down inside those gears, and then I welded that in too. Now the other side, I didn't put that plate on the other side. I just welded all the gears together, and plus right down. You can't really see. Anyway, this is hot as fuck right now, and I'm not going to turn it. But all down beside. So, like this gear and this gear, down between those, I welded all there. Each corner, I guess. Welded all the corners. So, anyway, this is overkill. I wasn't going to bother putting that plate into the center right there, but I did, just because I don't have a center pin. Now, I wouldn't recommend doing this kind of fix with no pin holding your spider gears together. This is just a woods truck. You know, if the rear end locks up on me or blows all the pieces, and you know, I'm only in the woods. I'm not endangering anybody's life. So yeah, if you're gonna do this, take precautions, be safe, and yeah. So that's it for tonight. I'll probably end up putting this in tomorrow. It's getting late. Got to work in the morning. So, but basically, I don't even. Well, actually, I don't even know if we're gonna make it a part 2 to this, because basically I'm just cleaning that up. Gonna be throwing that in there, bolting everything up, kicking these back in, throwing the dry shaft on, and I'm done. It's basically just a repeat of how you take it apart. So anyway, if you do have any questions, hit me up in the comments, and I'll try to answer everybody's questions. Thanks a lot, guys.